It's currently 6:27 p.m. I'm currently in the process of rearranging my marker satchel so that my Sharpie markers are more organized. Not too long ago, I think, around 4 p.m. or so, I bought a pack of 2 dual-tip black Sharpie markers. From Walgreens, using a $20 bill. And Mom said I could get in order to buy some Sharpies. 20 is obviously a lot for just a pack of 2 black dual tip Sharpie markers, but I wasn't able to find a $10 bill, and it was just some $20 bills and some $1 bills from what I could recall. I put the new dual tip Sharpie markers at the very top column of the marker satchel, within the first 2 slots. Left to right in that column. And then what followed were some fine-tipped black Sharpie markers, then in the next column some ultrafine tipped Sharpie markers, I think around 5:30 p.m. I helped my mom move some stuff in the basement in the I think it's kind of like a storage room because it's got a whole bunch of clutter, but it looks better today than it did back when I made the Lady Mechanica and Echidna or Annika from Animal Crossing polystring drawings back in early February. basically, I basically moved some stuff out of the way in order to clear a way to an old mattress within the room. This mattress is intended for Dad in the coming days to pick up and bring to his new house so that I have a bed in my room in the attic. I think recently he got the Greenlink internet together. But I still need a bed before I can stay with him. After I cleared the way to the mattress, which involved lifting some heavy stuff with my knees, such as a sort of workout machine that's supposed to mimic riding a bicycle. Basically one of those stationary bicycles in a way, something like that. Right after I lifted and moved another workout machine with the same shape, except I think this one's meant to mimic climbing up stairs. In a way. The first machine I lifted, the second one I mentioned, was heavier to lift than the first one. The stair workout machine, I ended up kind of leaning against a closet door and a wall within the room. While the bicycle machine, I ended up putting somewhere in the main room that connects all of the other rooms, near where LiQWYD is, which is essentially just a table with a whole bunch of completed Lego sets that I put together at some point years ago. Then the last step was to basically throw cardboard boxes across the room in order to clear the mattress of clutter. Now, this whole process took roughly 15 minutes. It was basically nothing for me after I walked to Wegmans, walked back, walked to Walgreens, which is right next to Wegmans pretty much, and then walked back. About that. The $20 bill I used to pay for the 2-pack of dual tip Sharpie markers was actually the second $20 bill I was given, because I lost the first one while at the container deposit return machines at Wegmans. I went around 1:30 p.m. And Mom suggested that I hold the $20 bill in this hand and my left hand. This is how I tell left from right. In my left hand, the $20 bill. In my right hand, the handles of the two smallish white plastic bags containing containers. In total, I got back $2.65 in container deposits. Though I ended up having to use 3 different machines. The first one would only accept the plastic containers and counted them as aluminum containers. So I had to go to the second machine for the aluminum containers. And those 2 machines wouldn't accept one of the Wegmans spring water bottles, saying either it couldn't read the barcode or that the store doesn't accept the brand, even though it had a 5-cent deposit on it. So I had to redeem it at the customer service area. Then I went to a third machine to return the glass containers. And every time I went to a new machine, I went to the left. And when I got there to return the containers, it seemed kind of like rush hour. Not that I have a problem with it, I'm just stating what I observed. So there was one person who brought a black plastic garbage bag rested on a shopping cart. And then a few more people who brought in bags on shopping carts. At one point, the bin for one of the machines became full, and after a few minutes, I alerted a staff member. And when they went to kind of clear out the bin in a way, though I don't think they cleared the bin, I think they just kind of shook it, and that made it somehow not full. But when they did that, it temporarily closed ended up eventually temporarily closing. The next two machines, the two machines that were to the left and right of the one that got the initial bin full. So it interrupted a couple people who had a shopping cart with bags full of containers to return. After I finished with the glass deposits, I noticed that I didn't have the $20 bill. I don't know if I dropped it or accidentally threw it away. I held the $20 bill in my left hand in the first place because the pants I put on for this walk had pockets without zippers. And on my way, I picked up some litter, which is the same for the other walks I went on. The walk back to Mom's place from Wegmans around 3 p.m., the walk to Walgreens, and then the walk back from Walgreens. Before I got back to Mom's place from Wegmans, there was a point in which I made a stop at CSC because while first walking to Wegmans, I noticed there was a lighter on the ground, so I turned in the lighter at CSC since that's not something you want to leave lying around or to just throw away. You don't want a kid to discover that, and it's almost certain that somebody dropped it. Anyway, I couldn't find the $20 bill in my pockets or in the two plastic bags. I couldn't find it on the ground near the container return machines. I couldn't find it inside the landfill bin that I threw the litter into, which is near the right door of the front entrance to the Wegmans. While returning the aluminum containers, one of them, it turns out, didn't have a deposit, so I recycled it in a mixed recyclable container near the left door to the front of the Wegmans. At one point, I alerted staff at the help desk multiple times. I think the first time was to ask, basically to let them know that I lost the $20 bill. Then the second time, a few minutes later, if maybe I had accidentally thrown it into the mixed recyclables bin, so someone from the Helping Hands department of the Wegman staff. Helping Hands is a department meant to assist customers. Although this Helping Hands staff member couldn't find the $20 bill either in the mixed recyclables bin or in the nearby garbage bin. And then the landfill bin on the right, near the right door to the front of the Wegmans was checked, but it wasn't found there. I spent maybe 30 to 40 minutes trying to look for the $20 bill, since I knew it wouldn't be good if I came back home to tell my mom I had lost the $20 bill. But they weren't able to find it, although they got my name and phone number down, and they're supposed to call me if they happen to find the $20 bill. I brought up the idea of checking the surveillance cameras to see how I lost that $20 bill, whether I dropped it or something else. But only asset protection can access those surveillance cameras. But luckily, Mom didn't seem to mind too much. Although she did tell me when I got back and told her about it, as I threw litter into our garbage bin, that she had a premonition that I would lose that $20 bill. And then I happened to see on the walk to Walgreens, after essentially being given permission to get the second $20 bill, apparently one of our neighbors' dogs called Rosie had recently passed away. She lived from 2008 to 2022, though the only memories I have of her is that she would at times bark at me a little bit as I passed that house in order to return container deposits at Wegmans. Which is something I would do either every now and then or days in a row, depending on whether we're talking about more recent times or years ago. All in all, it was generally a cool, overcast day. With some light sprinkles on the way to Walgreens. But even so, I broke into a sweat at times because I think I ended up walking 3 miles. Actually, probably something close to 4 miles today while wearing rainbow tie-dye Crocs. By the time I walked to Walgreens, and especially by the walk back, my ankles were a little bit sore, but they're fine right now. At points, I had filled an aluminum American Red Cross reusable water container to replenish myself after the exercise. Although, with heavy enough exercise, you want to do more than just replenish water. You also want to replenish electrolytes, but I assume that's done when you eat food. Also, as part of efforts to rearrange my marker satchel, I'm currently working on an all-new styrofoam drawing project using a piece of polystyrene that I found in our living room, so I can test how fresh different Sharpie markers are as I need to put them in. It's gonna go black Sharpie markers first, then skin tones, then Roy G. Biv. Ones that paint lighter to ones that paint darker. Left to right. Ultrafines. In the column directly below the fine-tipped ones of the hues of whatever colum that color happens to be designated to. I'm hoping that with this scheme I'll be able to be more organized, since now that I think about it, it doesn't seem right that all the ultrafines should be an entirely separate section. Basically, that the ultrafines should be separate from the fines. Since there are situations in which you want fine tip Sharpie markers and situations in which you want ultrafine tipped Sharpie markers. Also, I'm currently waiting on a sort of support ticket in the Discord server for Wrapper Offline. I use the 1.3.0 version to essentially get legacy or old GoAnimate assets, the pen for which has expired. And Vyond doesn't use those assets anymore. I use Wrapper Offline in order to make personal projects. In this case, the Dan Hamming episodes, though I may branch out to different stuff in the future. We'll have to see. I recently recreated Dan Hamming in the character creator of Wrapper Offline, but I wasn't able to save the recreation because there was no save button. So hopefully I'll get help from Wrapper Offline support soon. And I based off my recreation based off an image I took years ago of Dan Hamming from the episode Dan Hamming in The Visit, where Caesar visits Dan Hamming at the Mareriton House homeless shelter that Dan Hamming's at. I used a third-party image color picker website in order to ensure that I got the colors right for the Dan Hamming recreation. Back when I made that episode, Dan Hamming in The Visit, the legacy video maker was still operational originally on Vyond. So